request on changing nylon guitar strings. By the way, this is yours truly, Rockin' Dave, the real deal. North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida, and all that good stuff. So these strings are definitely overdue to be changed. And as you can see, my A string unraveled. This is very common when the strings start to get old, or if you're going to break a string, usually it'll be back here. If you're using pick, if you're playing with a pick, it'll even do that when you're doing finger style, but mostly with a pick is if you're palm muting, your hands resting on here. So as you know, I do both styles, pick and finger style, flamenco style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I get these unraveled here. Now, what you could do when you're new to this, you can take one string off and put another string on. What you're doing, you're just doing everything in reverse. And it's a good idea to record yourself, so you can always have a reference. So you take one string off, and then you put another string on, and so forth. But here, I'm going to take all 6 strings off, and this is it's like a chapstick. It's really like a wax. I use this at the top part here on the nut because these strings, your bass strings, have ridges. They're wound, and sometimes they'll get stuck in the grooves on the nut. Whereas your treble strings, they don't because they're smooth. Um, this guitar is pretty good with that, but I still run it. Just all I do is take a dab and I go across and I just wipe off any excess. That's all. So I'll make sure I've got that there. I've been using these strings, God, for maybe 40 years now. I've used other ones off and on, Salvarez, and Augustine Blues, but then most I just use the Diodario Pro Art. This is a hard tension. Sometimes I use extra hard tension. Extra hard is a little bit thicker, but for me, in my style, I go no less with the hard tension. They do make a normal tension, which is a lot more softer, lighter gauge. But it's also the reason why I do the hard tensions because my picking, and I don't like the strings too wobbly. And plus, when I'm doing my tremolo, the sound does project. Even though I do plug this in, but on the Rodriguez guitar, it has no plug-in. It's a traditional classical guitar. But anyways, I digress. I will be wiping down the neck, the fretboard, with fast frets. And I've been using this, oh my God, since 1980. And it's like, what, 44 years now? And I have a little bit of this left, some polish. When you're going to use any type of a polish here on the top part of the guitar, where especially when there's a finish on it, lacquer finish, make sure it's not lemon oil or anything like that. It'll say specifically for the top part. If you use lemon oil, you'll start to stain the finish, and it'll look like cloudy, unless you want that look. Okay. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to loosen my strings. Now what I'm going to do is, I'll be right back. I got to get my little winder. I got 3 of these. This one right here, my good friend Ray Murray from Red Tractor, he gave me this as a little bit of a Christmas present when we did that. You can never have enough of these. These things are great, and they got stuff with a power tool, but you gotta be careful. We got impact drills, and you touch the button, and then stuff starts to break because it's meant for construction work, not guitar work. But okay, so another thing I'm going to show you is this part right here, how these strings are. This is what's called a slotted peg headstock. So I got to loosen the tuners this way. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and lay this way, see if I can get that. Well, I'll just do it up here. It'll be a lot easier. And let's go ahead and just get these all loose. It's not as difficult as it seems. It's easier said than done when you're new to this. Now the way I do this is only one way. There's a lot of different ways of doing this. Uh-oh, what's going on? Okay, see our kitties down here messing with these. Leave that alone. Tiger. Wow, man. There's a lot of different ways of stringing nylon string guitar. What I've been using, the method I've been using has been working for me. And as you know, I do a lot of gigs, and we do a lot of outdoor gigs, and once these strings are stretched out, just looking, you gotta stretch the strings out. Once they're stretched out, man, I have no problems holding the tuning. Yeah, these, I started playing on an nylon guitar in 1974 when I was 11 years old. And thought I was going to play the electric bass because there was two Davids in the class, the music class we had. And then the lady said, "Yeah, David, you're going to play the bass." I was all excited. And then she goes, "No, no, no, not David Byron, David Brown." Yeah, David Brown. So then, because I held out and I thought I was going to play the bass, everyone grabbed the steel string guitars, and I thought the nylon strings were just a folk guitar, but I'll tell you what, it didn't really bother me because I didn't own the guitar. We would have our music lessons on Thursday and take the guitars home, practice Thursday, Friday, and of course over the weekend. Oh boy. Yeah, we got a little issue now. My screw thing came out. Okay. So I gotta get a screw to tighten this thing because it's not gonna turn it. Well, okay, guys. I'm gonna show you what happened. What happened? This. Let me show you what happened. I don't know what's going on. Why she's having showing it there. Anyways, this right here came off. So, and that is for here. Now this guitar is 23 years old. We've had this for 23 years. So, I have another guitar, my Yamaha. I'm going to have to put the strings on the Yamaha. And let me go grab that. This could be the same concept though. Same concept. You see what I mean? Down. This is all live, my friends. Okay. So, we have to do something else with that. Good thing I have this guitar because it's going to be the same concept. This is the Yamaha NTX 700. And it's a great little guitar. Okay, now, same concept. Here's a reminder. These strings are old. Yeah, the cat likes to play with the strings. Oh. No, you cannot have them. I know you desperately want them. You little monster. Okay. This has been a great guitar. We've used this at the Renaissance Fair, the Bristol Renaissance Fair. Up in Wisconsin. And yeah, how I got this guitar, I had another Breedlove guitar, steel string, that was all cedar top. And I'll tell you what, the sound projected real loud. The fingerboard was a little bit thinner up here. And this is a little bit thinner slightly than the Cordoba, but not by much. But, and then to be out in the heat, because the Renaissance Fair only would be during the summer months. And it gets hot up in Wisconsin. And for the finger picking on the steel string, it's, for me, other people, they could do it. Because I'm more classical and flamenco, it just tears my nails up. You know, not everything's for everybody. Always remember that. And you do what works for you. When I hear people say, "Oh, well, no, you could just," no. Your hands and your fingers are attached to your hands, nobody else's. I find it really interesting when people got all this advice, but they're not the ones doing anything. If you have a thought, you could have an idea, or your opinion, absolutely, 100%. But what's actually practical, that's not real. Okay, now we're going to focus down here. Usually on the bass string, I'll do one wraparound on the low E, and on the A string, one wraparound. When I get to the D string, I'll do two. The treble strings, I'll do three. And so we're going to do this. And same concept with the fast frets and the guitar polish. So, and then same thing with the little bit of with the chapstick across the nut. Now, when you do this, don't be surprised if this gets loose, and even the nut on some guitars. Your guitar's not broken. It's just the way they're made. If that happens, I want to show you something. This part goes on the bass side. This goes on the treble side. And likewise on the nut, the part that bevels down, that goes facing the tuning keys. Oh, this monster grabbed the string. Yeah. So, nothing is broken. Except on the Cordoba. Oh my God, that guitar is such a great guitar. Oh. Well, we got WD Music, and I'm going to take it in over there. And I have to replace those tuners, and I got to replace those tuners. That particular guitar, the Cordoba, I really do believe that was made over in Spain. The Rodriguez guitar I have, the classical guitar, that was definitely made in Spain. That was handmade in Madrid, Spain. So let's get these bass strings off. I hope you guys can see this. there's the thing with nylon guitar strings. I feel a little hand on my leg trying to grab the strings. I wonder what that is. Oh, it's the little monster. You kitty boy. Okay. So, I'm going to show you something here. Here, when I... Okay, is that not part of the bridge? This guy will take off with it. When I put the strings through here, I put them through here twice. There's a reason why I do that is because this is where, if you don't, because it's so slick, they could come right out. This is the hardest part right here, is getting this off. You'll see what I mean. You'll see exactly what I mean. Okay. I don't tie them. I just put them through because they will lock themselves in. If you tie them, you could have an even harder time getting them off. Now, usually, I don't have this much trouble because I have this on a much more stable position. But because I'm trying to show you guys exactly how I have this, that's why I'm doing this. And we do this, grab this here. And I do trim the strings to give it a neater look. But I trim those, trim the excess strings that are hanging. I trim them once I know the tuning is stable. Yeah, see, look at this. Fun times, man. A lot of us guitar players, we hate changing strings. But it's got to be done. Especially if you have a Floyd Rose. I'm so used to that now. Now see, this is not falling off. On some of these, they will fall off. But if this does, let me see if I can show you this. There's a part where the top part dips down a little bit. And another, if it's hard for you to see, another thing you'll be able to tell, this part of the nut is more sharp, where this part is rounded off. So, yeah, let's see if I get this, guys. Sometimes it's nice to have a pair of needle nose. Needle nose pliers come in handy. This is a nice little guitar. I have a capo for this, and the capo is specifically for a nylon string. And that's the only time I'll use a capo is when, if I'm doing music that's of the Renaissance period. Otherwise, I'll just use the bar chords. Okay, so we got that part done up at the headstock. Now make sure we can see here. So here, all my woundings are at least three wraparounds. And again, it's because it's going to hold the strings much better. This little plunger, it's not a plunger thing, it's a sound suppressor to help reduce feedback, which is pretty good. Here he is again. And you feel the little hands trying to grab the strings. All right. They're something else, aren't they? Okay. Yeah. So, here we go. We have this going on here. Anyways, so you can see I don't have the nut here. What I'm going to do is take my fast frets, go across the fretboard. Go across the fretboard. And all it is, it's like a shoe polish thing. And we're going to do this. We're going to do that. This particular guitar has 22 frets. So it is their concept of, for people who play electric guitar and steel string guitar, even though usually steel strings do not have 22 frets. This is what's going on with this. This is their idea. For steel string players, the bridge is further toward the sound hole. Traditional classical guitars, it's further back. And then, of course, the tuning is not different. It's laid out so you're not gonna have tuning, intonation problems. One thing with Yamaha, this is a Yamaha guitar. One thing with Yamaha, they're really good at engineering all this. It's the body comes to the 14th fret, whereas in the Cordoba comes to the 12th fret, which is more of a traditional classical guitar will do that. So again, this is like a fusion between a nylon string and a steel string. And I don't know where my top. Oh, there's my top. Okay, so you just wipe that down, and then here, I don't have much of this left. Just a little bit here. You could even take a wet rag. There's water. And because this bridge is a rosewood, I kind of wipe that down. Okay, so you can just take a soft napkin. What do you call it? I forget what that cloth type is. A material like a painter's cloth that's real soft. Anyways. Just wipe it down. I usually wipe down the headstock too. Now this particular guitar, the neck is a flat matte finish, really comfortable for outdoor summer playing, especially down in Florida, where the Cordoba is gloss finish. But I have no issues with that. Okay, so now here we go. Now, we're going to do this. So, here's the thing with Diodario strings. They're all in one pack, okay? Just to be aware of. Whether you buy the economy, the 3-pack, you know, it's just a 3-set pack, or a single pack. They're good. They all come in a plastic bag. Years ago, it wasn't like that. Now, which ones do you know? What's cool is they are labeled E. In this case, it's your high E / your first string. For those who are new to playing guitar, your strings are counted from the high string to the low string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you're looking down at the guitar, the top string is number 6. So if you want to remember this way, it's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now I'm going to set that there. The treble strings are pretty much, well, the treble strings, if you lose that, you have to feel out the thickness, okay? So, there's that. Now, we're going to, yeah, then they get all tangled up, see? I'm showing you this, guys, in real timing, because this is exactly what you're going to go through. Now, here's my A string. That's my 5th string. Here's my D string. That's my 4th string. So we're going to put that there. We're going to put that there. Here's my low E, my 6th string. So let's get this unraveled. And let's hope the kitty doesn't want to... I know he's going to try to grab it. Now, honestly, guys, it really does not matter which end of the string, because I'm going to show you something. Which end of the string you put on the bottom or the top. It's not going to matter. However, I'm going to show you what I do, and then, you could try it, and if it doesn't work for you, then reverse it. Okay, so we'll do this. See, there's the kitty. So here, I'm going to show you something. We got this part here. This end where the tag is much more rigid. See that? This end, you see where it's kind of frayed? So, I have this on the bottom and I tie it around. You could do any order you want. And the reason why I do this, because when I'm putting it through the hole, it makes it a little bit more easier. Okay? And got this thing right here. Now, you see how it's still frayed right here? Watch out, kitty. You're moving the camera. See how that's frayed? When I tie this around, that's not getting tied around here. I still have more what's rigid tied around here. Because once it's tuning, it's going to lock it in nice and tight. So, and if I have to do a little bit like that, I'm sorry for this camera, but this cat is something else. Come on, let's move it, man. Okay, so here, wrap that around. Now, because on my low E string, I'm only going to do one wrap around. Only one. We'll do that. We'll do that. And I hold this here because you see this part here, I want this to hang down. Not this part that's all frayed. So I'll grab this. You can see that. But I'll tighten it tight. It's not going to break anything. So you see, that's frayed, but this is still solid. And then once I have this all strings on and the tuning is set, then I'll trim a little bit here. Not all the way, but just enough where it's not hanging and dangling down. Now, at my tuning peg, maybe I should do this guy. Well, no. Usually I do it one string, but maybe what I'll do, so you guys can see this, is I will put all 6 strings on, and then I'll flip the guitar around and show you what I do with the peg head. Okay, so maybe that's a good idea. So now we take our A string, and same thing with here, but what I do with my A string is I do a double wrap. In the past I didn't, but then I started to because, now here's something interesting. This is kind of rigid, and so is that. So it's not really going to matter what's end. Okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this and that, and this. Okay, so here, I'm going to do a double wrap. Okay, I know this is, they do make strings with the ball end, but when those ball ends break, okay, so there's a double wrap right there. Okay, and I definitely do the double wrap on the next string, my D string. I hope this is not confusing anybody. Okay, and again, with the D string, now the strings are more rigid. I think it's only on the low E string. Actually, it is only on the low E string. I don't think I know. I've been doing this for, what, 40-some years? Yeah. You still forget now and then, because I'm not a guitar tech. I'm a performer, so there's more than just putting strings on. Now, I gotta go over some songs for this wedding gig we got on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Then we got our gig tomorrow. Anyways, so again, I give myself enough slack here. Don't rub up against the stand. I'm sorry, guys, if that keeps jogging. I'm not hitting it. The kitty's hitting it. He's mad because I'm not letting him get his way. Okay. And then here I'll do triple. This is what I do on my D string. I'll do a triple to really make sure that's locked in. Yeah, make sure that's locked in. Okay. And I start doing the triples also on my treble strings. So these are all clear. You don't have to worry about anything fraying because they're not round. So people think that these are steel. They're like a steel wrapped around, a synthetic steel wrapped around nylon. So they're still nylon strings. They just have that wrapping. That's all. This gets a little bit more challenging because these are easy to unravel. So again, I give myself plenty of slack. Plenty of slack. Stop hitting this. Sorry, guys. And this I definitely do triple wraps. Except we don't want to wrap that string right there. Definitely do triple wrap. Sorry if that camera's moving, guys. Usually I do this in the studio with the door closed, and this guy gets pissed because I don't let him in. They got their little personalities, that's for sure. So lock that in. It locks right in. Now we grab our second string, which is our B string. The third string is the G. The fourth string is D. The fifth string is A. The sixth string is the low E. Okay, so now we put this through here. And I'm going to go ahead and run this into the peg head. Okay, and I got plenty of slack here. Make sure you can see that. And again, this gets the triple wrap. Because these things will slip, man. And we do anything classical, flamenco oriented, jazz, or Latin jazz, bossa nova, where your chords have got to be as sounding in tune as possible. You don't want to have issues with tuning. It happens. It happens down here a lot because of the humidity. Okay, and finally our high E, the first string. Now, I didn't put the chapstick across there yet, because I'll do that when I flip the guitar in the other angle so you can see that. Okay. And again, the same thing. I give myself plenty of slack here so I could do my triple wrap to really lock them in. And once I get this all set up, I'm probably do an entire day of just practicing on this so that I don't have any issues. Okay, now let's go ahead and grab this guy here. We will flip it like this and move this there and flip this here. Maybe I should do it like that. Okay, now, so what I'm going to need to do, guys, is move some stuff out of the way. Always give yourself enough room. Probably do this as well. Those styrofoam things work great. They work great, my friends. Okay. So, now, this is going to be a little challenge for me because it's reverse. Now, before I do anything, I take a little bit of this. I got it here. See a little bit of that? And I just go across the nut. You go once or twice, it don't matter. And then I take the napkin, I kind of dab. Now you really don't have to go across all of them because your treble strings don't have any wrapping, but definitely on the bass side because that's where they could potentially get stuck. Okay, so now we see we got like a little bit of a mess here, right? So this is what we're going to do. We are going to make sure that everything is away from my low E string. The low E string, I do not have to do any double wrapping. The D string, normally I don't have to. It's my treble strings. But you see, when I do this, I don't, after I get the guitar strung up and I'm testing the tuning, I don't trim the excess. I wait like a day and I make sure it's really locked in tuning. And then I could trim the excess. So here we're just going to do this. Actually, go the other way. Now, I'm going to go on one side. Of the string. Yeah. Okay. So if you can see that. Then I'm going to come back on this side. And I just kind of guide the string there. Now what I do is I stretch my strings once I get them all on. I stretch them out. Okay. We're not going to worry about that now because I'm still in the process of getting these on. Okay. Make sure everything's out of my way. Okay. And now we'll do the same thing with my A string. And we should be all right there. See what, this is definitely different doing it on this angle. But I want you guys to see exactly what I'm doing. Now I can bring this in a little bit. And I'm not left-handed, so, and I'm not gonna practice to be left-handed. I'm 60 years old. I'm set in my ways, and I enjoy my life. You know, certain things I leave it be. Younger, you do what you want. You got time. Okay. So. Okay. Should be pretty good there. Okay, now we get my D string. And make sure we got enough here. We got enough there. Come on. Put that there. And we come here. Yeah. We're doing here. Okay, we do this, we do this, we do this, we do this. Okay, okay. We come here, we come here. Now the reason why I do this is because I want the strings to go with as less break as possible, meaning off of the nut, you know, breaking this way and breaking that way. You're going to get that here and there. Okay. So, okay. I think, yeah, I think we got that there. Okay, now that we're going to work on our G string, here's where I could show you what I do with this. Okay, I come here and I bring her up, and this could be tricky, guys. You know, they're not easy. Well, it's not easy for me right now because my position. It's because I'm recording this. But now, what I do is I take this. Say, I already got it through the peg hole, but I take it and I'm running it through the peg hole again. That's why I don't have to tie anything. It kind of helps lock itself in without going through that process of trying to tie things. Because when you do that, it becomes so hard to get these things off. And now I just go ahead and I just tune her up. I could use my hand here, or I could use the little winder. Okay, even though there's still a little bit of a break, but see, it's smooth. These strings are much more smooth. Okay. Now I do the exact same thing with my B string. Bring this through. You know, if you need to use a needle nose, go ahead and use them. You get the needle nose at any hardware store. True Value, Ace, Home Depot, Lowe's, or wherever you're at. It does not have to say Gibson, Fender, or Ibanez on it. Although if you want to buy and support the companies, absolutely. Okay, so here we go. How you do this. Bring this over. Now, again, there are different ways of doing this. This way works for me. And for me personally, it's to help it lock in tune. Obviously that goes there. Now you see what I mean by having excess. I have hangovers here. Not hangover, but you know, I have string hanging, and I have down at the bridge. But I don't trim those. Yeah, I'll trim them to make it look a little bit nice, just for the appearance. But I won't trim them until I know I got those strings stretched out and that guitar is in tune. What you're gonna experience when you first stretch the strings out, it's gonna slip. It's gonna slip. You might hear some slipping from here or the bridge. That's why I keep the wraparound. I mean the excess string lengths, so that if it does, it's what's happening when you stretch them. They're locking themselves on the tuning pegs, if that happens on a tuning peg, or around the bridge. Sometimes that has happened. It's not a big deal. Now we do the same thing with my high E string. Come back around, just like in Jaws. Come through the hole, come out of the hole. Now you go right in here. The greatest reenactment of all time. Now it's locked in. Back in Aurora, Illinois, there was a horror host we used to watch, Bone Jangler. He would call all the movies reenactments. Guy was funny. Okay, so here we go. There we go, see? Look at that. Look at that. That's how you string these guitars up. I know it can be a pain. Now, I'm going to flip it one more time. And I'm going to show you briefly, when you stretch these strings out, literally, you just stretch them enough, you feel the tension. Don't go too hard, don't break it. Because what you want to do, since the strings are wrapped around, you want to make sure in the pack that they stretch out so that now when you go to your tuning, it's going to start to hold itself. You might have to do this a few times. Just be prepared for that. And that, my friends, is how you, one way of changing strings on an nylon string. Again, all this will be trimmed off. I want to make sure everything is going to hold its tuning. And then I see how this comes straight out. You might think, oh my God, well, this might come up. What I do is I bend this down a little bit. And actually, I could bend part of it underneath my A string and just trim that. It'll just kind of lock itself in. But that's how you do it, my friends. So I hope this has been helpful. And we will be using this tomorrow. I don't know why this camera is doing this pulsating thing. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of this technology because it's not perfected. When it gets perfected, I'll be the fan, right? So anyways, guys, hope this has been helpful. And we will be using this for tomorrow night's gig. And definitely for the wedding. So if everything helps. And until then, we will be streaming live tomorrow from 6 to 9. If it rains out, if we get rained out, then when we get back to the house, I'll do a little something quickly live on this, show you what's going on with the tuning. But until then, you stay strong, safe, and true. Rock on, and God bless you. Thank you for watching. Take care. We love you all. God bless.